I am so happy right now. I never thought I'd get more Invader Zim, and we got more Invader Zim after all this time. I know that Vasquez was kind of like, yeah, no, I don't think I ever want to go and do that again. And then he was like, yeah, okay, I'll do the Netflix thing. And I was like, yes. So obviously I just watched Invader Zim, Enter the Florpus on Netflix, and I just, I'm actually I'm kind of trying to figure out exactly what I just watched, which I think was the whole reason why growing up I actually really enjoyed watching Invader Zim, was because a lot of the times you were just kind of like, wait, what? What just happened? That kind of feel, and I think that that was always a good thing, at least for me, because I have like ADHD also, so this this show was always kind of like, here, let us have some plot points, and then random ass things happening, and then Gurr screaming, and if Gurr's not screaming, then Zim is screaming. And somebody's always screaming, which for some people is really off-putting, and for me, I just knew it was part of the comedy, and I enjoyed it for that reason. Zim as a show, at least when I was growing up, and this special movie, I always felt like was fairly countercultural in that it questioned. I do agree with like some people's opinions about it, where it was going, yeah, you know, they're very like technically anti-capitalist in a lot of ways, and I was like, yeah, I think it's really more like anti-nameless, faceless corporations of doom. Like, you know, Bloaty's Pizza Hog and, you know, like all of that kind of stuff. And this special actually has the bracelet, right? And if you haven't watched it, go watch it now, because it's gonna start spoiling it. That like I already did, but I'm gonna spoil it further right now. I mean, if you're here, you should have already watched it anyway, okay? The bracelet, it reminded me of all the Apple products being rolled out over the years, from like Jobs to, oh my gosh, I hate him so much, Cook. Okay, hate's not a nice word, but I don't understand him would probably be a better way of saying that. Let me just put it this way, probably the next computer I get is not going to be a Mac, and that's the first time in like a really long time. Really long time. Like Windows XP long time. I mean, like, right when Windows XP was new long time. Anyway, the bracelets reminded me of that, like rolling out like this product that everyone's like, yeah, I have no idea what it does, but I want to get it because everybody's talking about it. Oh my god. You know, or, oh, I'm going to get this because this item is going to be marketed as this thing that is going to be so good for everyone, you know, without actually asking themselves what it's made of or how people get the components to what, you know, what it's made of. So, like, for instance, there's, I know I'm probably going to mispronounce it, so I'll just say vaguely, there's some metals and different minerals that are used in computer tech that are really harmful for people to be constantly digging up and stuff like that in order to make things, and it's just all sorts of bad for literally everybody, but people use them for computer chips and different parts of technology and technological design, and it made me think of things like that, like us being like, oh, but this is going to make my life so much easier, and yeah, and this battery is lasting longer, and it's like, yeah, but at what cost? So I felt like there were all these layers with just that one thing, that bracelet, and that the way that Zim hijacked the whole thing from Membrane and then just like was marketing it, and then was like, children of the world, hold hands and everything will be so peaceful, and then of course it opens up a portal and it takes you to the Florpus, and I was actually hoping that we'd see the room with the moose. I wanted to see that moose again. But instead we saw plenty of mini moose, which was fine. And just, oh my gosh, like I'm trying to think about everything that went on in that movie, and there was a lot. Like I loved also the fact that when they were doing the rollout of the bracelet, they're like, store clerks say that number of trampled people is like average, it's normal, it's fine. That's the other thing too, right? People are like, oh, this gadget's gonna make everything better, and then like on Black Friday, people are literally killing each other to go purchase an item. Yeah. Anyway. But I know what it feels like to be like, I broke, I need to go get this when it's dirt cheap. I do know that feel. So part of me is like, I don't really want to judge, because, yeah. But, I don't, and like the whole thing also with the father and son dynamic, or just like father and child too, because, I mean, it's interesting, it's like, Gaz has never really had to feel like she needed to seek the approval of her father, and I'm not sure if that's because she just doesn't care, or whether or not I think that's probably it, actually, or whether or not it's because she's just kind of like, yeah, he already approves of her because, I don't know, I don't know. I think it's pretty cool, actually, now that I reflect back on it, because it's been a while since I've actually thought about Invader Zim to like more than just like a casual, super casual viewing. Is like, more than that, is that Gaz was a video gamer gal way before that was much of a thing that was discussed, really, actually. Now with, you know, with Twitch and everything else, that's much, like, just the visibility of gamer girls in general has gotten to be a lot more widespread, but she's probably one of the first, I think, characters I can remember like that. There was also, I think, Reggie on Rocket Power, who was like, yeah, I can do field hockey and surf and skateboard and rollerblade and all that, like, as good as any of the guys, right? So Nickelodeon does have some girl power aspects, and I think that is because they really saw a lot of their popularity during the 90s, and that was still a thing. Then, I mean, it is now. It's just, I don't know. I'm not that young anymore. I'm watching stuff that closely. So you tell me. But yeah, oh my gosh. So seeing Gaz in that relationship and thinking about that and being like, okay, well, there's that. And I think also, I really do think it's just she doesn't care. And then you got Dib, who really does seek the approval of his dad. And I think part of that's because too, I mean, Gaz, no, she's intimidating, right? Like, nobody's gonna mess with her, or at least I hope not. Remember that one episode where that kid cut in line and got the last game, and then she was like stalking him to get the game, and we're kind of like vaguely told that maybe the kid almost died. I love that episode. Anyway, so no one's gonna mess with her, but Dib, you know, like, Dib is, they're both introverted children, which is, well, I think Dib's introverted. I know he talks a lot, but that doesn't mean anything. Because people who are introverted can talk a lot about things that interest them, like me. Because I'm introverted, and I only really like talking a lot when I get excited about something or I'm interested in it. So I think what it is he's more of like the introvert where he's been picked on more, because he's maybe not, he's considered like more nerdy, because interesting, it's like the sister is a gamer girl, and you'd think that she'd be picked on more, but because she's so intimidating, I think most guys are just like, and girls are just like, never mind, man, never mind, you know? But with Dib, it's kind of like, oh, look, he seems like a real nerd. He gets overly excited about weird things, you know, like one of those situations. And if you've ever been that kid, you know that really sucks. I know that I have been, off and on. And so, of course, you know, if you're like being bullied, which is really what it is, by your peers and everyone else, and nobody really shares your interests, and it leads down the path of you feeling like an outsider, of course you're going to seek validation from people from outside those groups, so like in the home, right? So like your dad or your mom, although their mom's not there. And so watching that during Enter the Florpus was like both interesting and awkward, but like awkward in the best possible way. And then his dad just being like, it was fine, I got hit on the head, it was all a dream. And I'm like, of course that's what you think, because of course that would be what you think. But it did have some good moments. Excuse me. I I'm just thinking of all of them. I'm like, oh. When we went to the space jail, my brain was like, I can't even talk right now. My brain was like, to give you an idea of where I'm at, my brain was like Outlaw Star, Guardians of the Galaxy, and Steven Universe. Because they all have jail breakout episodes, or in Guardians of the Galaxy's case, it was the first movie, it was part of the plot. Or actually a plot device. But like, that was actually kind of fun. Even though it was kind of weird, I was like, okay. That ship was a nice surprise. Hanging out in the garage, just chilling there, you know, the use of ham. Having the meat reference. Meat. It tastes me, guys, I'm delicious. Oh, and that's what I mean by like this show, when it was on TV, it was just weird. It was like nothing, and I enjoyed every minute of it when I was a teenager. I was just like, yes. I was actually, yeah, it was like early high school. Yeah, it was early high school. It's like freshman, sophomore. It was like a really dark time in my life, man. So Enter the Florpus was good. I feel like it had all these nods, like I'm saying. It had all these nods to different parts of the series, just like the Rocco special did, which I'm probably gonna do another video about that. But just, and also, Dib fighting alongside his dad hella looks like the ending of the Cell games in Dragon Ball Z. And I love it for that. I think it was deliberate because there was an obvious Kamehameha reference, at least to me. It was an alleged Kamehameha nod. Okay, Toy. And that was fun. It was super fun, and it made me really happy. And then going through all the different little, like, different realities and having all the art style keep changing, and I was like, yes, yes, yes. That was fun too, and it was kind of horrifying, especially at the end where where Zim is like, let me call the tallest and tell him that I have completed this totally bogus mission that he just made up, right? Because that was really phase 2 all along. No, it wasn't, Zim, and you know it. As he's calling him, and then it's like there's that puppet show of fire and death and pain, and you're like, so at least I was. So that was great. I really loved it. I loved the fact that Zim's plan was like, I am going to use peace bracelets and use it to teleport you into the path of the tallest, and everything will be fine. I mean, everyone will be dead, but it'll be fine because he'll have the tallest to finally come visit him. Speaking of somebody who's seeking approval from other people. Ooh. Oh, Zim. Oh, Zim. I actually chuckled and laughed quite a bit in this, which surprised me, and it could just be because I'm overly caffeinated and I had chocolate-covered pretzels, and that makes me kind of hyper. So that could also be why. But the use of snack food and pudding, and also the nachos, and peanuts. But the peanuts, the pudding, and the nachos, and the pizza. I was like, you're doing all the things. And they had like the waffle gun. At one point, it was like a waffle launcher. I want a waffle launcher. That would be messy and delightful. But yeah, just all the food references and things from the original series, and then adding onto it from there. I don't know about you, but I have definitely reached a point in my life where I felt like the way Zim did, sitting on the couch, like encased by, not nachos, but you know, just like feeling that of everything. You know what I mean in life? And then just having to slide off the sofa and be like, oh, I hate everything, but okay. Okay, I'll continue with life, it's fine. You know, that kind of thing. So very relatable. I always liked the fact that Invader Zim as a show pushed the boundaries of what was considered appropriate, like, range of emotion to show in a kid's show, which doesn't seem like it makes sense, because if you grew up with certain cartoons like Ren and Stimpy, or Rocko's Modern Life, like I did, or you saw reruns of Looney Tunes and different things, there were definitely a lot of emotions that were shown, but like they were, I mean, even in Ed, Edd n Eddy actually too. there were a lot of emotions that were shown, but they were never really, they were never, sometimes they tried to address things that were more serious. In fact, that oftentimes was the case in the 90s, but I think with Zim what it was twisted. And Ren and Stimpy was pretty twisted. And Cow and Chicken could be twisted, but it was, I don't know, I feel like maybe it's just the way it looks from an artistic perspective, with like it being more dark colors and things like that. But Zim just always felt more like an ominous show, which is why I loved it. It's because it was ominous, and when I was watching it as a teenager, I was going through hella dark shit because I had a lot of anger from spinal stuff that I had to deal with growing up, and then I'm still dealing with, which is why, like, if you see me do this, it's because I have tons of metal in my spine, and I just got more added last December, and I'm just, you know, so you have, like, emotions, right, and so sometimes they're dark and twisted, and you're like, society, you know, but Zim actually picks those emotions up and would play with them, right? So thank you, Vasquez. Thank you for going into the territory that is dark and twisted. Sometimes, okay, let's be honest, most of the time. And I'm really glad that that's still shown through a bit, even with all the silliness that Zim can be as a show. This special still went there, and it brought weird things to the forefront, from family issues to mindless consumerism and the dangers of not knowing where something comes from or who designed it and why, and social control and all those kinds of things. And even like media coverage was definitely addressed in this special as well. That was interesting. I noticed that they kind of steered clear of social media. Like, interestingly enough, I didn't really recall any smartphone use or anything. It was mainly TV, although I did think it was funny where he was like, I'm reading somebody's newspaper and I don't have a subscription. And he's like, well, nobody reads a newspaper anymore, but no, you know, like, and so, yeah, so I had fun. Bottom line, I had fun. Hopefully if you watch Enter the Florpus, you will have fun too. That's all that really matters. Sorry this was a long video, but it's because I love Zim, and I love Gur, and I love everybody in that show. It's just like, thank you for making it. It was really, really fun. And so, yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of go away now until the next video, but yeah, if you ever liked Zim, go watch Enter the Florpus. Maybe you won't like it as much as I did, but I still thought it was a fun ride. At the very least, it's a silly ride of doom! Yeah, so go watch it. Bye!